Hi, Capun Piso here. After my visit to Rome and my research, this is what I concluded. The origin of Christianity, Judaism as it's practiced today, and also Islam. Three important events happened. The Roman Empire was very tolerant of all religions, all gods. The god Julius Caesar was sacrificed, giving his blood for these people. That was number one impact all over the empire. Number two, his wax image was put in a tropaion, like a cross type, as it was customary, symbolizing the god. Number three, a comet appeared, 44 BCE, in funeral games, confirming his divinity. All the other religions began to eclipse. And in the 4th century, Constantine, there was a lot of mass confusion in religions, beliefs, and everything else. So therefore, he actually combined the God in heaven, now transformed into the Jesus Christ crucified. Everything was completely mutated, all the symbolism. That initiated Christianity, the decline of the Roman Empire, complete intolerance in only one faith. The Jews became the Christ killers because everything from Rome happened supposedly in Jerusalem, which is not true. And therefore, then we have all this intellectual stagnation, the killings, the genocide, the persecution of the Jews until present time, culminating in the Holocaust by Christian Hitler. Just thanks to Christianity and the deception of the Catholic Church.
Of thousands being led to their deaths.
Picture of a tropaion of the Temple of Apollos Oceanos is from the end of the 1st century CE. Tropaions were, that's where the word trophy comes from. Here you can see the tropaion representing victory as a shape of a cross, and prisoners. They're going to be sacrificed. Notice that the tropaion doesn't have a face.
Waiting for them. And if someone didn't fall into the ravine right away, he was pushed in with the butt of a gun.
3,771 people are murdered during the two-day massacre.
When Julius Caesar was, during his funeral, his wax image was placed on a tropaion in something like this. And you'll have the wax image of Caesar on a cross, wearing his crown of thorns representing of the god Apollo and his red cape.
Jews have always been represented as a very evil people.
That's what Christianity would come. We know now, there is no evidence, that Romans use a cross for crucifixion. They usually impale people, as seen in my... Year 2000, the linguist and scholar Francesco Carora wrote a book in the Netherlands about Jesus was Caesar. He has very convincing arguments, and all with a lot of sources, ancient sources. He depicts the wax image of the god Julius Caesar in this fashion. Well, I don't believe this is correct. This is probably more elaborate with shields and everything. But the idea is there. And his body was going to be cremated in the miniature temple of Venus. And we know that in many areas in Europe, they put the arms of Christ. They put all this bunch of things in decorating the cross. The
cross here carried by Aeneas is a symbol of the sun and victory over death.
But anyway, this is the way with the wax image of Julius Caesar was displayed in a tropaion, which that's where the word trophy comes from, clearly in a cross shape, eventually mutating into the cross in which the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was supposedly crucified. Of course, there is no evidence of crucifixion at all. The Romans didn't use a cross to display to punish prisoners. They use a cross as a symbol of victory, representing the rays of the sun. This fact is clearly demonstrated here in this mosaic. Look at the way the sun is displayed, the symbol of victor, in a cross. It's actually definitely a cross. And here is a tropaion again. As you can see, no face, just the cross with the two shields and the goddess Victoria with the wings and everything. And the palm, there's a sacred palm here, and symbol of the cross. Again, the prisoner is bound with ropes and underneath. Example of a tropaion. Victoria again, represented by an angel type of figure, a Nike, and a tropaion, a crush device. A crush device. And Caesar was placed like that. This is historical. His wax image was. This is the earliest. It's about 430 CE depiction of a crucified Savior. It's very, very peculiar. It's an ivory depiction, and you can see here, Christ looks like a cardboard image. It doesn't even look real. He's still hanging or nothing. He's just sitting in there like a god. And well, look at Judas Iscariot. He's really truly hanging there because he hang. But you notice that Christ is depicted not as a suffering, tortured man, but as a god. And the reason is clear. Wax image of the god Julius Caesar. So people were killed by Christianity, by the deceitful of the Christians. The witches, persecution in Trier, in Germany, all the wars. We have also
persecution of the Christ killer, the Jews, and atheists, and everyone.
Simon de Montfort in the 1200, the Albigensian Crusade. Look at this. He's buried in this cathedral in Carcassonne as a big hero, and it killed millions of people.
A Jewish author writes, "It wasn't at all apparent to these men that they were facing valuable, unrepeatable human beings. People who were devout and people who were atheists. The sad and the cheerful, the good and the bad. A clerk, a banker, and a teacher."
The Jews were seen as Christ killer all over Europe, and the Christian Hitler, he was not an atheist, implemented this destruction.
Yes. Whether I would have pulled the trigger or not, I can't say. Probably.
Special Squad 4A are the killers at Babi Yar. These murderers are shoemakers, bakers, craftsmen.
It is ignorant to say that these people use religion as an excuse. No. Religious psychosis, or Christ psychosis, uses them. These people were very devoted and believed that they were doing something good for Christ, because the Jews had killed Christ, and this has been the belief for thousands of years.
They do not refuse to commit mass murder.
There were a lot of men who reported sick. Every day over 30 of them would march up, sometimes as many as 50 or 60 who wanted to report sick.
How could they work in an atmosphere like that and be involved in mass murder on a daily basis?
Very simple. You have to kill the people that kill Christ.
People into those of value and those of no values.
Pure Christianity, Pure Christianity. Kill the people that kill Christ. Simple as that.
There are members. We are the chosen ones. We are allowed to do this, even though it is hard. We are saving the German people from the hereditary enemy, the Jews. You see, that's how it is. The Jews are to be exterminated here, and the Jews are our misfortune. And you will all be able to say you were part of this. You endured. You were so brave that you did everything necessary.
The Jews have been discriminated upon and hated all over Germany, all over Europe. And look at this, Luther. They were considered Christ killers. Just Germany acted upon them.
Struth believes his actions are honorable.
He was a person who always wanted to get on, to get promoted. Someone who would boast about every Jew who was deported or killed.
Oh, he's a Christian.
Someone who liked to go on about how brave his men
Jews are
were,
Christ killers.
and how perfectly he led them on missions.
Most of the murderers have vanished. But the victims are there to bear
Why would
witness.
anybody venerate these deluded, retarded men, ex-Nazi? The neurological disorder of Christianity is the cause, and all religions, but Christianity #1 is the cause of all the problems today. In pace Deorum. Let the truth set you free.